All right, traders, what's going on? We went 4 for 4 on our normal trades, and then we kind of messed around with Tesla a little bit. As you can see, it was ended up being about break even over the course of 2 trades. And let's just get Tesla out of the way real quick. We'll go over that. I was pretty bored. There was really nothing going on, and I saw the market made a new high around the same time this did, and then the market kind of faked out and went lower. So I was kind of looking at that as it was gonna, I mean, here, let's just squeeze over. So it was, what time was it? Let me see. We got in at 10:08. So if I go to 10:08, which was right here, you'll see it kind of went a little bit higher right here. It was this new high, and then it started to come back down. So at 10:08, when we got into Tesla, this is where the SPY was. So it tried to make a new high and came back down. And it was coming down pretty hard. So my thought process was that Tesla was still going up at this moment right here. As you can see, it never came back down into that range, that we were going to have a nice little reversal, even if it was quick, just to kind of try to catch up with the SPY. However, that never happened. So I told myself I was okay just letting this go, knowing that we had room to the downside, as long as the SPY didn't make new highs. So we came up here. SPY was coming back up to the highs around the same time, 10:16. And you can see it started to curl up here. And at 10:16, it made a new high. At that same time on Tesla, it started to look like it wanted to reject there. So I decided to put in an ad. I took one share. I was messing around. I wasn't even, I was more so just trying to see if I was right, which I ended up obviously being way wrong. SPY kept trying to go down. Tesla started to go down, go straight up essentially. And it just never really tried to pull back. So I figured maybe we'll get a pullback, even though the SPY just touched the highs. If the SPY tries to pull back at all, this will probably come down with it. I got in, put a stop at the highs for an ad, and pretty much went right back up and went higher. But as you can see, it hung out right there for a little bit. SPY started to come back down. And basically I was looking at this saying, well, this hasn't pulled back at all. SPY didn't really make like a really good new high. This is probably going to have a decent little pullback. So I was waiting for the first confirmation of a candle being broken. So once the bottom of this pullback candle here was broken, we jumped in and basically just held it. We were going to jump out at high of day, and that was it. I think we took 2 shares here. It came up pretty close on after it tried to pull back a little. It came up real close, and we actually had an order out at 8:02. I want to say like 60. I don't remember, to be honest, but we got pretty close. That would have put us green on the trade or on the ticker overall. But as you can see, it didn't work out. So it seems like we're going to spend the most time talking about something that probably meant the least, because we didn't really do too much too much size on it. I guess let's see what our first trade. EDU was our first trade out of the gate. If we scroll out, you can see previous resistance down here, 25. Get a nice pop up here up through 25.50. We actually jump in, and if you go back and watch this trade live on Twitch, you will see that the pop up through 26 to 26.38 was so fast that unless you had orders out, you weren't getting it. So a little unfortunate, because I definitely would have added up there had we given the opportunity, waited for it to come back down. I tried to let it come down through the $0.50. It didn't seem to want to. It did for a split second, went to 48, rolled the way back up, took it off at 57. It did try to go higher, and then ultimately it did end up coming down and retesting that previous resistance. So a little bit sad there that we didn't get more of that move or an ad. An ad there, we only take half here, and then we do get the other half down there. So just unfortunate. Tesla was the second trade. ALVR was our third trade. And this one was actually kind of funny. So you can see previous resistance here, 575. It takes off, get a nice little move up through the whole dollar, get in at 620. And let me turn this off because I know that's beeping in your ear. It's just Tesla being annoying. 620 up through, and we decide to get short. It tries to go a little bit higher, starts to come down. We scale out. Pretty happy with this trade. Take half, then take half again, and put the rest of it at this previous resistance. Well, we had like 42 shares left. And Unfortunately, we got filled, as you can see there, 35 of those 42 shares on the bid at 581. A little frustrating too, because the candle says it went to 580. So it left us with 7 shares. And immediately after we got filled, it got bought all the way back up. And so it was a bit frustrating because now we had to make a whole new order for 7 shares. I just put it at break even at this point. And a whole new order, pay more commissions, all for not getting filled 7 shares. It was a little frustrating, especially because I can see I tried to go higher and then ultimately got dumped on, and now look where it is. I mean, I still wouldn't be in this trade anyways. But yeah, just kind of annoying that it happened the way that it did. Next trade was on VERU. This one was actually off the bottom, but it had a really nice chunk of volume come in. It was probably honestly the best move that we saw today. As far as like a straight up volatility type move. And it went up through the $0.50. Perfect move, up 20 cents or so above that. It went up to 83 actually. We got filled at 79 once we felt the jiggle, and came back down towards the $0.50, took it off, and that was that. Pretty decent little smaller trade. Went smaller size because you guys know I don't really like these ones off the bottom. So I took way smaller size, even though the move was nice. I've been trying to ease my way into these a little bit, just because the daily is not great, or if it's off the bottom. If the move is still really nice, the odds are you're still going to get that same kind of rejection before it decides if it wants to go higher or lower. So I'm trying to ease my way into those just with much smaller size, which then leads us into our last trade, which was TTD. This one was a pretty decent one. It was volume out of nowhere. Previous resistance here at that 45.60 area, went up through the whole dollar. I really wanted up through 46.50 on this one. I remember watching it saying I wanted up through 46.50 as the move was happening, because it would have gave us a nice extension away from the previous resistance. However, as you can see, it stopped at 46.41. We ended up getting filled at 46.22, but that was actually, it tried to go higher a few times. So it went up to 46.41, came down into like the 30s, then went a little lower into like the teens, came back up into the 30s, went back down into the teens, came back up to like the 20s, like the high 20s, and started to go down again. So that's when we hit it. It jiggled like 3 times right in front of our eyes. And I decided to go ahead and jump in. Probably could have held for the full move down to that previous resistance, but it really felt like it didn't want to give too much of a pullback. And as you can see, it just barely went down to that previous resistance before trying to go higher. It ultimately did kind of fake out there and go lower, but as you can see, it was strong overall. Kind of came down and retested this previous resistance, went below it a little bit, but as you can see, it reclaimed and is chugging along. I'm sure the SPY has a little bit to do with that as well. But yeah, that was our trades. Not too much as far as size. Didn't really find anything that I loved. The ALVR was actually a pretty decent trade size wise, but I still felt like I kind of went smaller on that one just because I didn't love the move. I did like the shape of it. So that was kind of why maybe I made a little bit more on it. And I did use the button without modifying the size on that one. So that was a good thing. I'm progressing. In my head, I'm telling myself it's time to up the size, stop worrying about finding more trades, more so worry about upping the size. And the Tesla thing, that was just me having some fun. And yeah, but that's all I got for you today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you do have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those down below. If you want to find me in Discord or over on Twitter, I'm there as well. And I'll be live on Twitch tomorrow morning, and I'll either see you then or in the YouTube video tomorrow, as long as we make some trades. And see you then. Peace.